Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I am Dustin. This is the show where we look at the most active stocks on Yahoo Finance, and we're going to be looking at SoFi. SoFi, so much. We're going to go ahead and look at our individual data here. If you have never watched any of my videos before, we're going to look at one of the models that I built inside of Google Finance. One of the reasons I like to show this off is because I want every trader to know they can build their own stuff. Every single person should be able to build their own stuff. You live in the age and era of the internet and artificial intelligence. Do not be afraid. You are man, you shall create. Now, when we look at SoFi, one of the things I want to point out that I love is that we've seen this thing with red background or or red lettering all the way since October 4th. Now, the red background with the black lettering means it is two standard deviations above its 20-30 moving average. When you see the red lettering with the white background, that means it's three standard deviations above its 20-30 moving average. And we have been in one of those two colors or one of those two formats ever since the 4th of October. That's fantastic. Now, when we look, the price is just above the 5-day moving average. The 5-day moving average is at 1050. The 23-day moving average is at 908. One of the things that I appreciate about what we're seeing in SoFi is that we had some massive days in volume. You can see we had 116 million shares traded on the 14th. If you want to know why we are seeing, excuse me, if you want to know why we are seeing this volume spike right here, the reason why is because any day that you get a volume which is greater than the 10-day rolling average look back, you are going to get a volume spike. That's why 87 does not register as a volume spike, even though it's significantly higher. That 116 pulled it all the way up, and now we've seen a reduction in the volume, but we are continuing to get that bullish look, and I love it. Now, if we're going to go ahead and say that the most important thing that we've seen most recently is going to be the volatility rising, obviously volatility started to break out on the 3rd of October. Could you tell? Could you tell? As soon as you're seeing gap ups, you're seeing breaks. I mean, this, I don't even know what this is, a dojo, a flying candle, a stick, a star. You tell me in the comments below. But I love to see this volatility, that the volatility is breaking out and the price is falling along. That's why we're getting this future price path as price to rise. Now, we're going to look at the performance. What I'd love to see is a flip, especially on the 1 day, but I wouldn't even mind it all the way out to the 15-day or the 1 month. Those are incredibly bullish signals. But we are now positive on the 1 day, 15-day, or 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month. Fantastic looks here from SoFi. We have been bullish. And you want to know when we've been bullish? We've been bullish since the 9th of October. You could have bought this thing for $8.59. But you did. That's why you're watching my video. Now we are looking at how bullish this thing has been going all the way back. This thing is incredible. This thing has been bullish all the way since July 17th, even through the doldrums of the middle of August, or the beginning of August. You should have been bullish. You should have been buying. I wasn't, but that's why I'm paying attention to this video too. So if we go ahead and look at the overall rolling sentiment, the thing that I love, and if you watch my previous video, which is about NVIDIA does not have this weeks or months of redlining in its 2 day or its 5 day or its 10 day averages. I say that in the other video. You should definitely go watch it because I point out the fact that NVIDIA doesn't show that yet, but definitely can continue to. We're seeing a rising bull, most likely in SoFi. We're going to see a little bit of a flip over. No, that's not trying to be negative. That's not trying to be like, mean reversion is necessarily guaranteed. I just want to call out the fact that this thing is crazy bullish. Like again, you got a buy signal in on my system on the on October 2nd at $7.79. I wish I would have taken that signal. I bet you do too. But it was risking a falling peak. We've been getting big bulls, small bulls. Did we get some 1 month trigger? Yeah, if we got a 1 month trigger too. So what I love is a 1 month trigger and a buy signal stacked together. That is a great signal to me, regardless of anything else. Let's go ahead and look at the overall. Oh, don't forget to put the new high newsletter. Feel free to subscribe. 25 stocks to your inbox by every single Sunday. But let's go ahead and look at what we got here on the overall charts. The quick review. Obviously, this chart is beautiful. This base has been fantastic. If we look at it on a longer term, this base has been fantastic. It's breaking out above that $10, hopefully. We are about to crush it in SoFi because this base has been going up to 2022, 2023, most of 2024. And look at us go, boy. I know some of you Twitter folks are just going to be absolutely loving this. Now, when we look at the daily sentiment, I am a little shocked at how high it's gotten. It got to 69%. If you've watched any of my other videos, this indicator generally only gets to 60% or all the way down to 40%. Now, the big thing about this is that it is more of one of those, it's a mean reverting thing because it wants to be a perfect balance. It wants to be 50%. You never see it at 100% bullishness or 100% bearishness. It's just not how it works. Now, if we look at the overall volume, what I appreciate here is that we're getting massive moves on massive volume. This is the largest day looking back all the way to April in terms of the volume that we saw in one individual day. I wish it would have been bigger, but honestly, I don't care. I see that we got the 15-day moving average moving up. I'd like to see this get actually lower volatile or lower volume and just see the price just slightly move. But you can see this ramp. Like the volatility, as we mentioned earlier, has just been ramping. It's been breaking out. This is probably one of the highest volatility sections that we've seen looking back the entire year since this goes back to, it looks like April of 2024. If we look at the volatility going back for years, you can see like we're going to see a massive breakout. The 4th of October was a weekly move. That was a weekly low in vol, and you can see this vol is already almost equal to the previous vol that we saw in the middle of July. This thing is significantly higher than the vol that we saw at the end of 2023. So this volatility that we're seeing on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, is historic. If you're looking at it in over a year in terms of rolling, now you can see the correlation has got incredibly positive. I imagine that's going to roll over, which I imagine also that that the volatility is going to roll over. And I'm not saying that you can't be much higher because the prices in other stocks or the volatility in other stocks can be significantly higher. But we haven't seen volatility like above three in look back in over 8 months here in SoFi. So the idea that we're up at like what, four, almost five, 4.3 is a little crazy. And if we look at the actual trade range, obviously the trade range is breaking up because the volatility is breaking up. The top of the range is at 1160. I don't know if we're going to get there, but I love when the trade range is getting higher and higher. I see the bottom of the range is now coming up a little bit. Let's see what we got. So, as I've mentioned, I don't like to use Google Finance data. The reason why is because A, it's free, and B, they don't really take care of it. But I do enjoy calling APIs and building apps. This one that you're seeing here, the Evening Equity Insights, is something that I built for myself just in case everything broke. I'd at least have the most important parts. I want to see what's going on with price. I want to see what's going on with volume. I want to see what the actual sentiment is. I want to see what the trade level is. I want to look at the buy bottom, the sell top. And the most important thing to me is, am I getting higher highs or higher lows? As you were getting here in SoFi, when you get a higher high and a higher low, that is an incredibly bullish sign. Doesn't matter what price, doesn't matter if it's a higher low without a higher high or just a higher high. That is bullish because that is telling you that the overall market is just gonna rip higher because that's what the probabilities say. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, subscribe to the New High newsletter. We send you 25 stocks to your inbox every single Sunday. Stocks below $20 that are breaking out. Stocks bring out to 1 year highs. Stocks bring out to all-time highs. It is a great list to get your trading week started. I'll talk to you soon.